Today we're going to take a look at one of the most realistic airsoft AKs that are on the market, the GHK AK-74M. What's up Airsofters, my name is Lane and welcome back to the BB Warrior. So GHK has been well known for making high quality AKs for almost a decade now. The great thing about these and what makes them unique compared to other options on the market is these are gas blowback compared to most guns which are going to be AEGs. So taking a look at the GHK right out of the box, this is a completely stock airsoft gun. The only thing that I have done is replace the orange tip because it was pretty hideous. Taking a look at it, the externals on this gun are fantastic. We actually have two GHKs that we're going to be showing you guys today. And comparing this to a real Romanian AK, the weight is spot on, the overall construction of the rifle is as well. Overall, this is just a really well-built gun. The externals on this gun are produced by LCT, and if you've ever handled one of their AEG AKs, you know how incredibly high quality they are. One of the things that I noticed right off the bat with this GHK is the fact that everything has incredibly high tolerances, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because one, everything feels nice and secure on here, but replacing parts or even just getting the parts that come stock in the gun to refit if you're disassembling it can be a little bit of a pain. Getting the dust cover back on after I took it off for the first time actually required the help of a screwdriver. But for all of the models that they have, they're going to have real wood if you have one of those. The synthetic furniture that is on here feels amazing. If you've ever handled an LCT, it's going to feel exactly the same on the outside. But what you're going to notice is the extra weight. Not only is the magazine much heavier because it's gas blowback magazine, but just the overall gun with all the components that are inside, it's a much heavier platform. Comparing it to the Romanian AK that we have, it's actually pretty spot on, which is pretty cool. GHK makes more than AKs. They also have their M4s, the G5, they now make an AUG, so there's a lot of different options if you don't just want an AK. But overall, these are going to be some of the most realistic airsoft guns that you can find on the market. Now, why don't we get to the part of the video that everybody actually wants to see, and let's actually go out and shoot this gun a little bit. All right, so let's put a mag through, first on semi. Am I good?
Yep.
Pretty typical airsoft recoil, so let's see if it's controllable in full auto. So we're out of ammo. We're getting some kind of interesting, kind of felt like the equivalency of like a hang fire. I'm not quite sure what that's about. We're using Elite Force .32 BBs and Elite Force green gas with it. But overall, that kick is pretty good for an airsoft gas blowback gun. Now let's try this on the 74U, see if we have that same issue. We're using the same mag as well. Well, this one's doing better. I'm not quite sure what that is, but overall, I mean, the gun feels fantastic. I definitely like this shorter barrel more than my own personal 74M. After filming this video, we figured out that the issues with the gun were actually due to the green gas that we were using. Because we were using an older canister that was almost near empty, we didn't have the same pressure as you would normally have when using this gun, and that's what caused the issues that felt like a hang fire. This was also noticeable when we chronoed the gun, and noticed that it was much lower than what we did earlier in the day. Typically, you should see a chrono around 1.3 or 1.4 joules with a .32 gram BB, which makes this gun excellent for outdoor play. The recoil on the GHK AK is what you'd expect from most airsoft guns. Because this is so heavy, a lot of that recoil is going to be dampened by it, but it feels like you're shooting a .22 basically. You're not going to expect anything crazy out of the box. I think this would be a good time to talk about the internals and some of the overall problems with the GHK platform though. GHKs have some parts that are notorious for breaking that I feel like absolutely needs to be discussed when talking about these airsoft guns. Specifically, you're going to be looking at your hammer and your auto sear. Those are typically weak parts because GHK doesn't use steel for those parts. Now, luckily, GHK has a huge aftermarket supply of parts, and there's some that are recommended for every single gun. If you're looking to get steel parts for that hammer and auto sear, like I mentioned, there are multiple companies out there that make them. W&S is the brand that I'm probably going to go with because they make a full travel kit. The main difference between that is it allows you to pull the bolt back the entire way that you'd have on an AK, on a real AK, excuse me. versus the kind of shortened version with the GHK. The other thing that I've seen a lot of people mention is replacing the hop up in the GHKs. However, I really don't feel that that's necessary. I'm hopping 3.2s just fine, and in my buddy 74U, he hops 4s consistently. While there are other aftermarket hop-ups exist, like Maple Leaf or TNT, I really don't think that they're necessary, and in most cases, I notice that they cause misfeed for the majority of people who end up buying them, and they have to do some dremeling and filing to make them work, but the GHK is just fine. Overall, I mean, these guns are great. There are a few parts you're gonna have to replace, but that's most airsoft guns, or most gas blowback airsoft guns, I should say, right out of the box. But overall, if you're looking for a more realistic AK, if you're looking for something that feels heavier and has that recoil, I think that there is no better option than the GHK. Sure, you're gonna have to put some parts in there to make it function reliably over time, but honestly, to me, I see it as being a great platform if you're looking for something a little bit more realistic than any AEG out there. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much. I just want to say a huge thank you to the Gun Gamers crew and Task Force Keg, who have not only helped me with coming out here to film today's video and get some of the B-roll, but also having to land and actually being able to go out and shoot a gun in a review. If you want to help the channel to make more great videos like these possible, consider hitting the join button down below. It's what funds this channel and allows me to come out, take time off of work, and be able to do these fun projects like this, and overall make better videos for you guys. But you might be asking yourself, well, what do I watch next? You can always click right up here for a viewer favorite video, or if this is your first time here, I'd love it if you hit the subscribe button that is right down here. This has been Lane from the BB Warrior talking about the GHK AK series, and I'll see you all next time.